Now, one of the main differences with Trump and any other president, at least within recent history, is how he handled foreign relations is very, very different than normal.
And how he also campaigned.
How he campaigned, yes, but I think even the foreign relations is even more drastically different. Some people are, some people like it. Some people are saying, "Oh, it's a bold new way," but here's why I think it's kind of stupid. Not stupid isn't the right word. Why it's probably not the best way to go about it. For starters, he's very like he seems to. I think actually, and this is another good line I got from Fox News. Rare thing to happen, but it does. From Greg Gutfeld, even rarer to get a good line from that guy. But he pointed out that Trump's strategy seems to be to go as far as he can one way. Like for instance, with North Korea, the first thing he does is send in the Armada, which happened to be going the opposite direction, but sending in the Armada, and then within a couple days he's scaling back. All right, I'd be honored to meet him. We should talk. So it's like he goes one way and then like okay, like let's calm down, which that can be effective, but it could also lead to like imagine if someone called it bluff and North Korea happened to
Why do
launch
you
a
think
missile.
that happens though? I don't understand. I've never understood why Trump is always like it's like you said let's talk one day and then it's like let's send in the troops
Well,
another day. Like
I
why
think
is there
there's
so I don't understand.
I think there's three possible. Well, it might be all three. It might be one of the three. But here's the three things I think with it. One could be it is a negotiation tactic. It's a bit different thing when you're negotiating with possible nuclear war on the table.
As opposed
But
to a business.
when you do negotiate it, it's smart to like no one's going to start out with or if you wanted to get let's say $500 out of a deal. You're not going to start out asking for 500. You're going to start out asking for 1,000 because you assume you're not going to get everything you asked for, and things will, it'll meet somewhere in the middle. That I don't think works the same with foreign relations because all it takes is someone to see you escalating and say, all right, let's, this is war,
Yeah.
and there are millions of innocent people that are going to be dead because of that. So that I think it's a very risky way to handle foreign relations, but the other reason it may be is because he really doesn't have a plan and he seems impulsive. It may literally be, he reacts and then he calms down later on, which that I think is a real possibility.
I think that might actually be the best one.
No, I'll be honest, that's why I think it's the best one too, but I don't know the man personally, so I
Yeah.
can't, I can't ascribe I can't say what his motives are. I can only give what I think they may be. And the third reason it may be is pretty close to the second reason, but kind of like you notice a lot of times he does this. He gets it's for the public perception of it. Like when he launched the cruise missiles, it was a completely symbolic strike, and now I'm happy we didn't do anything more. I honestly didn't even think that launching the missiles was a good move, and now I'm I'm as moved as anyone when you see the tragedy coming out of it. The pictures, any normal human, and I could understand why, someone in power, it would be hard not to react to that. Like the first thing you would want to do seeing that is punish whoever the hell was responsible. Like it's disgusting.
It's a natural reaction.
As Trump put it, and I agree with this fully, it was a disgrace of humanity. It was a disgrace on humanity, which that's true, but you gotta keep in mind, it's the president. There's a lot of lives on the line based on your decision. If that didn't go as it did and just die down, if let's say Russia decided to react, which again, like I don't think that was a real worry in this situation because we took an airport out for what, like 24 hours less.
Yeah, not even.
Yeah.
Not even. It was operational, I think, within 12 hours.
But to me, it looked like a spur, and there was no real plan with it. Again,
it was a symbolic attack.
You could say it was to show that the U.S. isn't taking shit anymore, but
I
don't think anyone thought the U.S. does. We have the most powerful military on Earth by far. We're invading more countries than any other one on Earth. We're the most likely to engage in military acts in someone's country than anywhere else. Only the weak have to fear appearing so, and only someone who has no idea what they're talking about would think the U.S. is weak militarily. That's a silly notion.
Oh, yeah, it's just stupid.
But, that said.
But that said, North Korea, no, did we just talk about North Korea, or was that Russia that we just
No, we're talking about foreign relations in general.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, got a little off topic, but not off topic. I almost forgot what the topic was.
Yeah.
But excuse us. But now what we were getting at with that is how Trump seems to be handling foreign relations is bizarre as we said. But and one thing I want you guys to look out for if you haven't noticed already. He seems to try negging leaders into action. For instance, with North Korea, the previous missile launches, he takes to Twitter to, oh, they disrespected the respectable leader of China. And now with this recent one that landed semi-close to Russia, oh, they disrespected Vladimir Putin. He's not going to be happy. He's either, what I see with that is he's either underestimating these people and assuming that they're going to hear, oh, they disrespected me, we need to get involved. Or he's doing that because he knows that would work on him, which that's a whole nother scary thing. That if we have a president who can get coaxed into action easily.
I think that's a really important point, and I kind of touched on this in our previous segment. But Trump literally thinks how he would do anything.
Yes.
And I mean, which is fine because he's the president, but like you have to understand like how other people think and how other people perceive situations. Because you're the president of the United States, you're not just dealing with people in country. You're dealing with people all over the world.
You're dealing with over 7 billion people. You gotta try to take. If you're going with just your own perspective without trying to consider any others, it's not gonna work. It's just not gonna work. You're not gonna be able to make decisions. If you're trying to make decisions based off you're assuming that everyone else shares your perspective and all. You're going to misjudge. For other countries especially, what they're going to do, you're going to be easy to manipulate. If he would react in, how he seems to think Putin or Xi Jinping, China's president, would react to someone saying, oh, they disrespected you. How easy would it be to manipulate what our country does? All you have to do is insult the president.
And I think we would be, if we reacted the way Trump reacts to most things, which is impulsive and based on his own thoughts. Like, I think the world wouldn't even exist now.
No,
Russia we would already have had nuclear war if that was the case.
The reason things have went well for longer than they have is people being rational and above things like that. Like, a world leader should not be a person who will act like a 5-year-old to name calling or someone disrespectful. If no decision on the world stage should be made, and no sensible person would make a decision based off of someone made fun of them or negged them into it. You gotta be having more mental fortitude than that to be able to lead. But to get into the specifics, 2 of the countries that his relations with have been of particular interest are North Korea and Russia. Now, Russia, a lot of people have, for some reason, a very big problem with us having more relations with, and I don't understand that, to be completely honest. Yes, Russia's not perfect. You can say
neither are we, though.
Neither are we.
We're not perfect at all.
Which, again, like, that's fact. Like, no country is. But Russia, yes, you could go on about, like, oh, Putin, practically, he's a dictator, practically. They silence dissent. Reporters don't have good luck if they don't toe the party line there. But his people like him, and he's a leader of world power. You have to interact with these people, and it is in everyone's self-interest that we get along. There is nothing to be gained from being at each other's throats. It's stupid.
And Russia and the U.S. account for over, I'm going to say, I don't know the exact number.
Almost all of the nukes.
Almost all of the nukes in the world.
By far.
And it wouldn't take many of them to be launched to destroy the whole world. So I think it is in everyone's best interest to start talking to Russia. Like, let's just get this shit done.
And
like, we probably will never have perfect relations.
No,
but can we at least like move away from the point where we actually think nuclear war might be a possibility?
Because it's ridiculous. Well, I don't know if Russia or nuclear war right now is a big possibility.
I'm not saying possibly, but there's people that people think that it could happen.
Yeah, well, obviously it could happen, but it's right now. I think relations aren't that bad with Russia, from what I've read at least. Obviously, I'm not in on the meetings. We don't have a line to Putin to find out or Trump to find out, but it's just common sense. It's how all right, since World War II, there has not been a major conflict between two countries. You could cite the Cold War, but that wasn't really a war between two countries. A bunch of proxy wars fought. That's because war at this point between two major countries, there will be no winner. It's a disaster. And even, yes, it's obviously a gigantic benefit not having a war, but that aside, how much more we get accomplished instead of having to worry about putting all this money into military, worrying about what everyone else might do, if we actually did work together with our international neighbors to fucking make progress on things. Look at the International Space Station, for instance, is one of my favorite things we've done, because the whole world came together, and come on, that's one of the most amazing accomplishments in human history. left Earth. Now, not all foreign relations are like that, obviously. North Korea is a very, very big topic right now when it comes to that. And we'll cover that in our next segment, because there is a whole lot to talk about there.